Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show. And this is the first and second round episode here on Off the Cuff, where we are here to discuss rounds 1 and 2 of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And as always, I'm joined by my MVP All-Star Sports panel, Chad Rainwater, Zach Hahn, and Jordan Conaster. And this is a big moment for Off the Cuff because for the very first time, we are actually not only broadcasting through the mic, but we are broadcasting via Facebook Live. So hello to all of our live viewers and people that watch the show later. But ladies and gentlemen, what a tournament this has been. I have to say this has probably been the best March Madness I have ever watched. The top 4 seeds, number 1, Virginia, number 2, Cincinnati, number 3, Tennessee, and number 4, Arizona, all done. And what a way just to start off the show there with that proactive statement. Guys, how you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing fine, man. Jordan, how's it going?
I'm great.
Zachary?
I'm doing great. Good to be on another historic, record-breaking episode of Off the Cuff.
Guys, have you, I think that you guys are perfect in a lot of ways, myself included, but one thing that is not perfect, and that's your bracket. I want to start off by talking about probably the biggest upset in sports history, especially in college basketball. The University of Virginia was knocked off the number 1 overall seed by UMBC.
So what is that? University of Massachusetts, Baltimore County?
Maryland.
Baltimore County. Maryland County. So I don't even know that. That's crazy.
How is a county a college? I don't understand how that works.
In Maryland, that's the way they do it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say that UMBC, they say that people who fill out the brackets that know nothing about basketball, they go by the prettiest logo. So I'm sure that every girl in the United States of America picked UMBC to beat Virginia.
I saw somebody on my Facebook posted their bracket after that, the day after the game, and they actually had, it was like their ESPN manually put in bracket, and they had picked UMBC to beat Virginia. I was just like, all right, that's pretty cool.
They didn't just beat Virginia. They destroyed Virginia. They beat them by 20 points, and they just wasn't the number 1 seed. They were the number 1 overall seed, which was what was so amazing about it. I mean, they couldn't miss. I think that if anybody would have been playing UMBC, UMBC would have done the same thing.
Oh, I have to agree. They just played out of their minds. Like you said, anybody who they would have played probably would have gotten beat, and they had nothing to lose. Like, what do you have to lose? Coming in as a 16 seed, never beaten a 1 seed before. They just played out of their mind and played. I mean, that team played with a lot of heart. You know. That was the first UMBC game I've ever seen. I've never seen a UMBC game
I've never
before.
heard of UMBC before.
The only time I heard of them was, I guess, a week prior on Sunday in their conference tournament when they beat Vermont, a buzzer beater. And what's crazy is that you're playing against a team, like you said, who's the number 1 overall seed. They won their conference by 4 games, and they got beat by a team who had to get into the tournament on a buzzer beater, and probably was the last team in the tournament. That's what I think is crazy.
The UMBC coach, does anyone know his name right off the bat?
Oh, yeah, it's Dave Odom's son.
Yeah, Dave Odom's son?
Yes.
Okay, well, Coach Odom is, if he's not been getting any job offers as of late, he's definitely going to get them now. I like the guy. He seems like a real humble guy. I like what he said. He said, "This isn't about me. I feel very uncomfortable with all this attention. We're trending nationwide. I can't go to sleep. We've been up since 4:30. We didn't get in the bed till 4:30. It's because every time I turn on my phone or I turn on Twitter or Facebook, I see us trending." And they were trending nationally. Nobody can ever take that away from them. They will always be the first to have done it. And I don't know when it's going to happen again.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, how long it's taken up? When did the seeding start, in 79 or 76?
I think they've had 16 seeds since like the mid-'80s.
It was 135-0.
Yeah.
Now 135-1. Well, it'll be probably another 10, 12, maybe even 15 years before this happens again. I mean,
they almost beat Kansas State. That was a heck of a game too.
Almost beat Kansas State. They went on to play Kansas State, and I think they won the whole world over. So I think everybody besides Kansas State fans was cheering for UMBC because they were that Cinderella team. They even had the little Cinderella shoes on playing.
And I thought it would be awesome. I'm going to Catlanta on Thursday. I thought it would be pretty awesome to see UMBC play, just to see them play.
Yeah, why not?
Dude, and did you all see, I know you don't know many players on UMBC, but did you see that guy on their team who's 5'8", KJ Mara.
Oh,
He's
5'8"
5'8",
generous.
110. Yeah, he said
5'8"
5'8" on a good day. He said he's
Yeah.
5'7". Dude, that dude's a ball
The
player.
refs were taller than he was.
Yeah, he was a good player. He almost had to shoot jump shots on his free throws. Like, he almost left the ground on his free throws because he was so short.
I love it when I see short players do well because I'm short and our short people have to stick together. If I can see anyone eye level, I'm a fan of yours. But UMBC, yeah, they went on to play Kansas State and they lost, but it was... Even after they lost, they still had something to be proud of. Mm-hmm. They wasn't going to go far in that tournament, realistically. Everything was stacked against them, but they could leave the arena with their head hung high. So Kansas State did beat them to advance to the Sweet 16. So it was a great game. But another upset, because the upsets definitely does not start there, was a game that I called. And I told you guys, and I actually posted a little clip of it on Facebook. Yep. I don't know if you saw it. But Arizona, as always, choked in the tournament under Coach Sean Miller and got beaten by Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I think Sean Miller's done.
You do?
I think Sean Miller's done. I think he just coached his last game at Arizona.
I was going to ask, what is the future of Sean Miller?
I don't think Sean Miller has a future at this point. Maybe in a couple years after all the allegations and stuff over the DeAndre Ayton money settles down, he might have a future in college ball, but I just don't see him having anything. And honestly, I don't see where Arizona has anything to keep him around. He's not won anything for them.
Exactly. He's got no upside at this point because you know you're just going to get to the tournament and lose before you get to the Final Four. And a huge downside, I mean, he could take the program down if the allegations about it being recorded that he arranged for a $100,000 payment for DeAndre Ayton. So, yeah, I could absolutely see them cutting bait with him, Jordan.
Yeah, so then you have Buffalo. Since they beat Arizona, they had to play Kentucky, who beat Davidson. And that Davidson-Kentucky game was too close for comfort. Davidson, the former school of Steph Curry, the all-star in the NBA, everybody knows. But they looked good. Davidson they fought hard. They really, really wanted to beat us, and you could tell.
Absolutely. You know, I believe Davidson was a little underseeded, and they were in the top 40 in the RPI, I believe, somewhere around there. So you know they were going to give it everything they got. And they shoot like 33s. You knew it was going to take we did talk about on the last episode that it was going to take a bunch of threes for Davidson to hang with Kentucky, and they hung with us. I mean, we got up pretty big in the first half. I think we were up by 10 going into halftime, but they just didn't go away. And I told you this before, but anytime there's white guys in red, they just scare the crap out of me, man.
They do.
Every time.
And we're going to put that on a T-shirt. And I should mention, since we just brought about that, we are going to come up with a T-shirt line here on Off the Cuff, where we're going to have off-the-cuff T-shirts. We're going to print like a regular off-the-cuff shirt for people to buy at your own will. We'll make it cheap for you. And we're also going to take things that we say on the show, things that stand out, and we're going to just plaster them on the T-shirt. For instance, like this is the time for coaches to get hired and coaches to get fired, or white boys in red scare me. And of course, my favorite, the city of losers, Cincinnati, which we'll talk about them in just a minute. But yeah, Kentucky went on to play Buffalo because Buffalo beat Arizona. What did you guys think about the Kentucky-Buffalo game?
The first half was too close for comfort for me. We didn't really start. I mean, we were scoring, but they were scoring with us. Our defense was kind of sagging in the first half, and they were hitting shots. But in the second half, it ultimately opened up for Kentucky. Hamidou Diallo, a player that has struggled for the most part of the year, that was a highly touted recruit, highly touted, I guess, second-year player, redshirt second-year player, somebody who's got to spend a lot of time with the team last year. He came out, and he had the game of his life. Yeah,
played out of his mind.
So we need that in the tournament, and I honestly think you're going to get that play. And then also Sasha Kalea-Jones looked great in that game, and he's turned into a great big man for this team that they're going to need if they want to get number 9 this year. So,
yeah, I have to agree with that. What did you think about it, Zach?
What Jordan said pretty well summed up how the game flowed. I thought Buffalo, there was no way that they were going to be able to run with us for a half. They were an athletic team, more athletic than you would expect from a MAC team. But for them to do that for 40 minutes just proved to be too much. I was more impressed with their performance against Arizona than against us, really. Their point guard looked great in that first game, but he just didn't have it when it came for a chance for the Sweet 16.
You're talking about Wes Clark, the point guard who came from Missouri?
Yes.
He had a good game, but he couldn't carry the team.
No.
I mean, you got to have other players step up as well. But when he hit that three from about half court, at the time you had a feeling it was going to be a close game. I mean, I think that cut it to within like 5 or 6.
4, I think.
It was
for a while.
Yeah,
it was a 4.
I mean, they stayed
game.
with us in the first half, but you know how usually Cal has a team ready for the second half, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Coach Calipari. Everybody wants to give praise to Tom Izzo about a coach who does well in the tournament. Tom Izzo, he does, and we'll get to him in just a second too, but Coach John Calipari holds the reins of being a tournament coach. Every time, he just has to get in. That's all he has to do is just get in the tournament, and big things will happen because he did advance Kentucky to the Sweet 16, and everybody wants to give Kentucky crap, saying that they have such an easy road. But all I'm going to say to that is just the nature of the beast. That's what March Madness is all about. We can't help it that Arizona lost. We can't help it that Virginia lost. But we do have a pretty easy route now
That's
in the South
easiest
bracket.
I've ever seen for Kentucky. In my entire life, I've never seen an easier route getting there. So I'll take it, but
It's a historically easy route. This is the first time that the top 4 seeds in one region have been gone by the time it gets to the Sweet 16.
this has been a historic tournament. I think the last time it's been years since 2 number 1 seeds got knocked out in the round of 32.
Yeah. And once you tell me that a 16 beat a 1, you can already say that that's been the most historical tournament I've ever seen.
The next game I want to bring up is the game that actually kind of set the tone of March Madness. It was the first buzzer beater shot, and that was the Loyola. I never say that correctly. Is it Loyola?
Loyola.
Yeah, Sister Jean's school. Sister Jean's school. Her boys fought Miami, the 11 versus the 6, and they beat Miami on a buzzer beater. I think that set the tone.
That was a crazy game, too.
It was.
Because the one kid from Loyola just started driving, had nowhere to go, and just tossed it off to his teammate at the top of the key, and he just drained a 3.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't know if you'd call that was a. I mean, looking at this 11-6 matchup there, it is an upset, but you would think that probably about 30-40% of the country had Loyola winning that. I mean, looking around the table here, how many people had Loyola? 3 of us. Did you have Loyola?
Did you?
I did not.
Yeah, so 3. So that wasn't really. I don't think that was a huge upset, but the next round, which we talk about that later, you can say that one was.
No. I mean, we could talk about they had to play Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know we were skipping to the second.
Yeah. They had to play Tennessee, and they ended up knocking off Tennessee, which I was disappointed as far as the conference goes because I've been bragging about the SEC. We've had 8 teams in the SEC this year get in. Is that right? 8 teams.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
8 teams.
8 teams get in. Tennessee, I was bragging on them. I definitely think that Coach Barnes he probably is close to being Coach of the Year. Have they announced a Coach of the Year yet? Did that go to Tony Bennett, or is it still up for grabs?
I don't think they have.
Talking about NCAA
For
or SEC?
NCAA wide?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a whole tournament-wise.
Was it Chris Mack? I know he was in discussion for the Coach of the Year. It was like Chris Mack, Tony Bennett.
Rick Barnes.
I just know Ohio State's coach got the Coach of the Year.
Oh, did he?
NCAA wide, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So, yeah, Tennessee, they knocked off Tennessee. Do you think that Sister Jean, who has become the face of this program, this small Chicago school, do you think she has anything to do with their wins? The nun?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree. It's nothing. It's just a story.
It's a cool story, but
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah, they have to have a story for every March Madness, and she's a good story this year. She's 98. She can barely walk, barely speak, but
I mean, what are you saying? Like that they're just going to keep winning every game by buzzer beater? Like it's just meant to be or something?
It's
like
the
got a little
nun
divine
power.
intervention?
It's the nun
You
power.
know that she does. She did predict that they would lose in the Sweet 16. So we'll see if
Wow, that's
that comes
negative.
true.
yeah, she
She had them losing in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, they asked her about that. They said, we see here that you have in your bracket that they're losing the Sweet 16. She's like, yeah, you know how old people are. They just say what they want.
Yeah.
Whether- They don't care. She says, yeah, that's as good as what I think they can do. So, I mean, hey, they're probably going to lose because Sister Jean made a prophecy there that they're going to lose.
I
So
got Nevada. That's,
I would feel good if I was Nevada because Sister Jean she's basically saying, regardless, Loyola Chicago is going to get beat.
And what makes that game interesting, going back to the Tennessee Loyola game, remember how we ended up watching that? We left with Loyola was up, and we paused it, so we didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
And when we got back and we're trying to figure out how, we were like, oh, I bet they went on a buzzer beater, or oh, no, I think Tennessee's going to come back and win. And that was pretty cool how it was set up for that ending there. And I think I ended up guessing that, didn't I say that they were going to win on a buzzer beater? It wasn't really a buzzer beater, but it was close enough. But I thought that was pretty neat. Yeah.
I got first order for T-shirts there, Banks. By the way, on an unrelated note.
Okay, what's on the shirt?
Well, James Stakeland.
Yeah.
He wants an extra large and a medium.
Oh, okay, great.
Pass that along to the shipping department.
James, I will get that shirt out to you, man. Listen, Nevada, Texas. I want to say Nevada knocked off Texas, which was a good win. Really, nothing important there in that game, unless you guys want to add anything. But the game that we want to talk about when it comes to Nevada is their game with Cincinnati, who is part of the City of Losers. I think that that game was probably one of the biggest upsets in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati, what a comeback for
22 points.
Yes, what a comeback for them.
I don't know. I mean, I could almost see. To go back to Nevada, Loyola, Chicago, I could see Nevada losing because did you guys see how crazy Nevada's coach was after that loss?
Yes, he was.
Like he lost all composure, all professional. I'm sorry. He won, but he lost all composure, all professionalism. He's just running around. Went up to the crowd.
When we recited for the camera what happened, an edited version.
Yeah, you can.
Give me an edited version. All right. So
is he gonna start dancing?
I'm watching the game.
You're not even on the.
I'm watching the game. After the Nevada and Texas game. And, I'm focused in on the post game and everybody. And the camera zooms in on the coach in Nevada. He comes running in the room, jumping up and down. What a effing good game! Effing good game! I'm like, are you serious? This did not happen right on broadcast. I mean, you could hear everything clear as day what he just said. And I was like, I didn't know what to laugh or.
It's definitely okay though because it's March. I think that you get a pass from saying some colorful language in March.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not holding it against them. I just don't think that they seem like they're a team that's going to be prepared for the next one. It seems like they are just really, really, really excited to be in the Sweet 16.
It's one of those that they won the game of a lifetime, and it's just you celebrate, but can they be prepared for the next game with It seems like they got all the joy out of them already. Can they be prepared for the next round?
I mean, that's two comebacks. I mean, against Texas, they were down by 14 and ended up coming back to win. Then against 22 against Cincinnati. So, I mean, we can obviously tell they're a good comeback team. So, you should never count them out. You don't know what they're going to do against Loyola.
Half of America changed their channel during that Cincinnati-Nevada game.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I'm included in that. I got a text from Chad saying, "Are you watching or did you see this game?" And I said, "No, who won?" And I was just like, "Oh wow, are you serious right now?" So it's part of March.
Yeah, I was in the kitchen and I peeked around the corner because I was watching I think it was the North Carolina Texas A&M game. And I peeked around the corner and they had a live look in at that game. I was like, "Am I seeing that right?" They were up 2. Nevada was up 2 with a few seconds. It was right before Cincinnati lost or missed that last basket. And I was like, "This is unbelievable."
And it was great to see Mick Cronin lose. I can't stand Mick Cronin. He plays in such an easy conference, and he's never been to the Elite Eight. He only can get his teams to the Sweet 16. He puts his little hands behind his back like he's Richard Nixon or something, and he's acting like he's a good coach, and he's not.
He yells at his player. I hadn't really watched that much Mick Cronin. He treats his players like crap.
Well, he's Rick Pitino's good friend, if that tells you anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there you go. So
tells me all I need to know.
It tells you all you need to know. So far, we got Kansas State, Kentucky, Loyola, and Nevada in the Sweet 16. Next up, we'll talk about another first-round matchup. Xavier defeated North Central, or was it Texas Southern?
Texas Southern.
They defeated Texas Southern, but that's not the game we want to talk about. We want to talk about the Xavier Florida State. And as always, the City of Losers struck again when Florida State knocked off number 1 seed Xavier.
But that was a great ball game all the way through. The entire game was good, and it was just blow for blow the entire game. But Florida State showed some composure and just finished strong.
Chris Mack, I think, is gone, too, after this year. He is being rumored as the head coaching position for Louisville, so we'll just have to see how that pans out.
I'd like to see Chris Mack at Louisville.
I think he could do a good job at Louisville. I do. I mean, Chris Mack he's decent. I think he's got a suspect defense. I think you can pretty much tell what he's going to run every time, but I do think that he gets his team's 28-30 wins a season. So
he's done it for a while now. So Xavier's been good for a little while.
They went to the Elite Eight last year, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that? Is that?
I believe they actually beat Florida State last year to make it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Got that sweet revenge.
They got that revenge
for that Sweet 16. So Florida State is now in the Sweet 16. Ohio State beat off South Dakota in the first round. I was pretty upset about that because you guys know in my bracket I had South Dakota all the way in the Elite Eight. But I was proud with the way South Dakota played. They only lost by a couple points, but they did defeat South Dakota. And Gonzaga beat UNC Greensboro. So we got to see an Ohio State and Gonzaga matchup. And what a day or a tournament so far for Ohio. Ohio lost. So all three Ohio schools are now out of the tournament. And Gonzaga and Mark Few is going on to the Sweet 16.
Couldn't happen to a better state.
I mean, it could always happen in North Carolina.
Well, North Carolina's gone.
Yeah,
It's still there, though.
Yeah,
that is true. If I could think of one state for it to happen in, I would want it probably to happen in Ohio. I have such a hatred for the OHIO. Does anyone know what they do there?
Oh, yeah.
Ohio, yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like any college sports teams from Ohio, but
I have several friends at work that'll rub the OHIO in your face all the time.
Houston beat San Diego State. Michigan beat Montana. So we got to see a Houston-Michigan matchup. That was the buzzer beater of the tournament. I love that one. That was amazing. Jordan Poole, I don't know if he's any relation to former Kentucky player Stacey Poole, but Jordan Poole shot that shot at the last second. And you know when a player shoots a shot, you can just tell in your gut, hey, that's going in, that's going in. When I saw that shot go up, I said, there is no way that is going in. And it went in.
So well defended, too. And it was so far off balance. Just one of those shots that it was just... There was no way it could go in, but as soon as it came off his fingertips, it was just the ugliest shot ever, and you could tell it was in.
Off balance, guarded, deep.
His legs spread open.
His legs were spread open, and he just threw it up. It was just a prayer.
Yeah.
Happened to go in.
Yeah, it was just a very, very lucky shot. And he ran away from his players. You see that? He ran away from his team.
He got him anyway.
Slow-mo, the guy was behind him. He was like...
chasing after him. He chased him all around that gymnasium. He chased him all the way around him. And I said gymnasium, arena. But he did. It was awesome. And so Michigan, I did want to see Houston win that game, though. Even though I don't like the Houston coach who destroyed Indiana and left them in a bad situation. And I don't like Indiana, but I don't like people who leave schools in bad situations.
Wait, how did Kelvin Sampson leave Indiana?
Well, he was texting players, and you're only supposed to text players a certain amount, and he texted them way too much. I mean, he texts them like Josh texts us to come over and play 2K. He texts them like that,
but that
way too much.
Oh, dang. I hope Josh isn't on the no, but that's small. That's so small compared to the stuff that has happened since then. Like, if Indiana sucks, it's not because of Kelvin Sampson.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I don't like the Michigan coach, Jim Beeline. Yeah, he's always got something bad to say about Kentucky, and he's just got such a sour look on his face. He never has no like happy expressions, and I was hoping to see him get knocked off.
Yeah, well, Harrison Bradley stole all his happiness from him a couple years ago.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad for Houston though. I mean, I was cheering for Houston, even though I have Michigan in my bracket here, which means crap now. I was going for Houston. Rob Gray was an outstanding player. I mean, he had like 38, 39 in the first round, and then 23 in the second round. That was just a great game that I don't even know.
No, it really was.
For words, especially after that buzzer beater, but you just feel bad for Houston.
But a team that I have to, they've made me choke on my words, and I said they didn't even deserve to be in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M, an SEC school who I thought didn't even deserve to be in there, actually beat Providence, went on the second round to play UNC.
And smashed
ate them. Yeah, they just ate them alive the entire game.
Them.
I think at one point A&M was on like a 20-8 run or something. Because at the beginning of the game they were down.
That was like right before halftime, wasn't it?
20-8 run, yeah. And any team that goes on a run like that, they're pretty good.
It was an 86-65 loss that the Aggies did to the Tar Heels.
Well, we knew from experience at the beginning of the season. I mean, they beat us down there. They played us a good game in Rupp Arena. They never really had their team fully together until late in the season. And they were projected to be a top 10 team, and some people were even saying that they could go to the Final Four. And right now, it's a good possibility that they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Texas A&M's definitely been a tale of two teams this season. When they've been bad, they've been bad. When they were good, like they were against North Carolina, they could easily beat. They got Michigan next.
Yeah, they have Michigan next, and
they're go either way.
They're playing as good as anybody else in the country right now.
That'll be a good game.
With Robert Williams and Tyler Davis down low, that's a bad.
Robert Williams is a bad man.
Oh yeah, both of them good guys down low, and they're a bad matchup for anybody who plays them.
Well, as a Kentucky fan, I would love to meet them in San Antonio, though.
I don't know, man.
I would love to meet Texas A&M in San Antonio.
I agree with you. I'd like to meet Texas A&M.
We're one of the biggest teams in the country.
Yeah.
If all the teams left in the West, if we did make it to the Final Four, knock on wood, I'd like to see them play Texas A&M over any other teams.
Okay, so in the South and West Sweet 16, Kansas State, Kentucky, Loyola, Nevada, Florida State, Gonzaga, Michigan, Texas A&M, and that's 8 schools there that are in. Let's move over to the East and Midwest, and we'll start talking about Nova. And, they defeated who won that playing game? LIU, Brooklyn, and Radford.
Radford won.
Okay, so Radford got defeated by Nova. Bama beat Virginia Tech, and Nova and Bama played a game. And I don't really have anything much to say about that game.
We watched a little bit of that game.
We did. It was kind of coompsy-coomsaw.
I think we ended up turning it off to watch some old UK basketball games. But it was close. In the first half, it was close. I think Alabama was only down by 5 or 6 points. But in the second half, Villanova showed why they're number 1 seed.
West Virginia beat Murray State, and Wichita, surprisingly, I thought, would prevail over Marshall, but we are Marshall.
Hey, I would have loved to have seen Marshall make it past West Virginia, though, and they played them good.
Yeah. It was a battle of the wild and wonderful West Virginians.
Mm-hmm. The country roads.
It was country roads.
The country roads battle. But Marshall was up on them for like the first 8 minutes of the ball game, and they were looking good. I wish they could have held it out, but ultimately West Virginia and what's their point guard's name? I can't think of Carter. They're just too good.
Well, I mean, West Virginia, Huggy, a lot of people are saying that Huggy is due. I mean, he is overdue for a championship. Don't be surprised if the jumpsuit is not what you're seeing in the postseason interviews, man.
Yeah. If they can get past Villanova, the sky's the limit for them. That's probably the toughest game that they'd have on their route left.
Villanova is one team that I was down on this year, and they have been blowing people out. They look good.
That's going to be a great Sweet 16 matchup.
I could see them. What they won it the year before last,
16.
I could see them do again.
They have.
They're scary good.
2 of their star players back from 2016, I believe.
They do.
Brunson.
And,
Bridges. Not Bridges.
Bridges. It is Bridges.
Jalen Brunches and Mikal Bridges. Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I'll get it right.
So when you get those 2 stars back a couple years later, add some other good players. I mean, it's a dangerous team, and we doubted them in 2016, but I think everybody gave them a little bit of respect.
I'm actually going to go as far as saying that the Nova WVU game is going to be the best Sweet 16 matchup in the entire Sweet 16.
I think, in the Sweet 16, I do see that. But I think one of the best games in the tournament we could see right now, the game that I'm looking forward to seeing in the tournament, if it can happen, will be Kansas and Duke.
Kansas and Duke?
That's my look forward to game.
Kansas and Duke, if that happens.
We're moving along to the Midwest on that. I said that a little bit too early, but that's one of my games that I'm really looking forward to right now, if it happens.
Let's talk about that. Kansas, of course, beat Penn. NC State lost to Seton Hall, and then that had Kansas and Seton Hall playing. Seton Hall, Kansas, anything with that game that you saw that was interesting?
They gave them a game. Kansas definitely seems vulnerable, but they always do, and they still just manage to find a way to win those games close.
Kansas took away in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Kansas kind of just took off with it.
Yeah, it was a close game. I don't know if y'all looked at the stats or anything, but Angel Delgado, 24 points and 23 rebounds. I think he was the first player to go 20-20 since against a number one seed since Akeem Olajuwon.
Man,
he's a good
Graham for Kansas, the guard. The kid's out of his mind. He rebounds. He blocks shots. He's in your face. He's snatching, he's snatching rebounds. He's stealing the ball. He's scoring the ball. I mean, it's just, if I had to choose a guard on my team right now that I wanted to guide my team into the tournament with, it would be him.
Does Clemson have any chance against him?
I don't think so. Kansas looks good. And Malik Newman from Mississippi State, he's a complete different ball player since he's went to Kansas, and he's turned Bill Self's team around. He's that difference maker for that team, and he's scoring outrageous right now, and he's just playing all around good ball. Clemson looks good.
I don't know. Clemson looks good too. Clemson is a team that nobody's talking about. I think that people are sleeping on Clemson. Clemson, since we're talking about them, they beat New Mexico State. And then Auburn beat Charleston. So you saw the Clemson and Auburn matchup. And Clemson mopped the floor with Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers.
But see, I think Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers, though, are on the way down. And I said that on the last show that we did. Auburn kind of, in my opinion, Bruce Pearl's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
He's one of the best coaches in the SEC.
Yes.
But I think the Auburn Tigers this year were a fluke. I think Tennessee was ultimately the best team in the SEC throughout the year.
I have to disagree with you on them being a fluke team because they did win the SEC regular season, and the SEC this year was the toughest conference. Well, it was the toughest conference in college basketball this season. And then Clemson, they won the SEC. Did they share it with Tennessee?
I do believe so.
Yeah, they shared it. It was
a shared title.
So, I mean, one of the things that Bruce Pearl said after his blowout when he got beat by Clemson is he says he is sorry to disappoint Auburn fans. He's sorry to disappoint the conference because he feels like he didn't represent the conference well. And you do want to represent the conference well if you won their regular season because it makes them look weak and you belittle the conference. But, I don't know. I think that they had everything going for them. But Clemson, I just think that people are sleeping on Clemson, and Clemson is better than Auburn. And
so you think this is a case of Clemson being good, not just Auburn being bad?
Well, I mean,
I think it's more the case of Auburn being down and Clemson being good. Clemson they played in a tough conference. You got to think, they had to play North Carolina, they played Duke, Florida State.
Clemson's going to beat Kansas. Clemson's going to beat Kansas. That's what's going to happen.
I really hope I still don't see that.
Because I want to see Kansas do. If Clemson, like you say, beats Kansas, there's no way that Clemson has a... What?
All right, so TCU, the returning NIT champs, they faced Arizona. No, they played Syracuse. And I just have to say, Syracuse is a team that I have to apologize to. Every year, I give Syracuse down the road. I don't think they can do anything. But if Syracuse gets in, he's like Calipari. Jim Boeheim is just like Calipari.
Yeah.
He can play in the tournament, and he was the first four in a couple of years ago and went to the Final Four. He had a 19-game winning season one year and went to the Sweet 16, and now he's the first four in again, and now, look, he's back in the Sweet 16. So I apologize, and you know what? Syracuse, I don't think they will beat Duke, but they're going to give him a hell of a game.
Because Jim Boeheim, his teams always play, it seems to be the best zone defense in the nation.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that really saved them in this tournament. So they're always there. He's a good coach, but I definitely didn't see Syracuse going this far.
I did not see him beating Michigan State. I mean, beating Arizona State, that's one thing, but beat Michigan, because I didn't think Tom Izzo would let the zone get the best of him. I thought he would be able to deal with that.
Especially with the kind of players that Tom Izzo has this year. Jaren Jackson and Miles Bridges are the two big ones, and those are two zone breakers.
Are Michaela and Michael Bridges, are they related?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but they're both
Miles
good.
Bridges.
Yeah, they're both good.
What's crazy about that is, and I think we all owe Jim Boeheim an apology because we've always said, oh, well, they get in. They shouldn't have deserved to get in, like you said earlier. And but what's crazy is, as a double-digit seed, Syracuse is 7-1 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
so that was a pretty interesting stat. And another thing is, Syracuse plays with 7 guys.
Yeah,
they played with 8 yesterday because they lost Frank Howard towards the end of the first half. But that's to play with only that many players, 7 guys. That's pretty tough. I mean that's probably the reason for all their losses in the regular season, but. I thought it was a great game by Syracuse, and they just completely shut down. Shut down Michigan State. I think Michigan State shot like 23% in the second half.
Playing with 7 guys, if you're going to do that, though, the tournament's really set up ideally for that because the games can get to be so slow. Like you get a lot of time to rest those 7 guys. They're not running for more than 4 or 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I believe one dude, I can't remember if it was Tyus Battle or Brissett, but one of them played 40 minutes. Which, I mean,
I believe it was Battle.
Is it Battle?
I'm pretty sure.
He's in the top 5 in NCAA in minutes played, but I guess when you do get down to those games, you have to play. Your adrenaline's
I mean,
the
thing with March is it's do or die. So when you're going to play 7 players, it's the best time to do it because it's do or die and they know it. So your adrenaline kicks in, and you can find the extra minutes.
Well, you can do it with the zone too because you don't get as many fouls as man to man because you can let a guy go if he gets around you. You don't have to grab him.
Yeah, but Syracuse, since we're talking about Syracuse, I will say that they are a good example of why the regular season doesn't really matter. And because, okay, Virginia, obviously, they were a better team than most of these teams that were put in the tournament. But because of one lucky night for UMBC, they lost. They were a great team. Syracuse was not a great team. And look, you got Virginia out, Syracuse in the Sweet 16. So, but it's the beauty of March. I never would want to change the one and done game rule for the March Madness brackets. But it goes to show you that it really doesn't matter what you do in the season. You just got to get in or win your conference tournament, whatever you need to do, and just do work from then on out. The 3 weeks or the month of basketball, that's really all that matters. And for basketball purists like all of us, it bothers us because the regular season doesn't matter. But it is what it is, and that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Michigan, they beat Michigan State, knocked them off. And then there was Rhode Island defeated Oklahoma. Duke defeated Iona. Then we got to see a Rhode Island-Duke matchup. Duke looks good. They scare me. Grayson Allen, he didn't trip anybody, but Duke is looking pretty good.
Didn't trip anybody, didn't butt-check anybody, but what's the guy's name they have? They're powerful right now. Bagley. Marvin Bagley. Gosh, he's good. He's good. He's scary. He makes that team even scary. And then Wendell Carter.
He's probably who I would take if I had the number 1 pick.
I'd still take DeAndre Ayton. That's kind of off subject.
Yeah. That's Josh. That's a question for Josh.
We skipped one team or one little bracket there in the East, and Florida played Saint Bonaventure, but what is their name? Saint Bonaventure. I just wanted to make sure I was sounding that out as I was saying it. They defeated UCLA, and that was great to see. I love seeing UCLA fall. Steve Alford, he had that expression on his face like, man, I really screwed up. I shouldn't have let the ball boys go. But he got defeated, and I don't know if the ball boys had any influence on him winning or anything, but he got defeated by Saint Bonaventure. However you want to say it.
That's Bonaventure.
We'll stick with it. Bonaventure.
Bonaventure. But, they defeated them. And so they went on to play Florida. Florida snuck by them pretty quick and pretty easy. Texas Tech defeated Stephen F. Austin. So we got to see a Florida-Texas Tech match, and you guys saw me jumping in front of the TV for the Gators. Because
that was a good one, too.
That was. They had a chance in that last 2 minutes of the game, 1 minute of the game. What is it now? You were doing signals, and I was like, are you telling me 2 minutes? Yeah, they had a chance twice to beat on a buzzer beater there, but they did not. And I love the last 2 minutes of a basketball game because you get to see how everybody reacts, the coaches, the players. That's the best part of the game. And I think Mike White did a fine job on getting his team to play to the very end. But you know what they say, if your shots go in, you're a genius. If you miss them, you're a screw-up. So you can't – I mean, it is what it is. Florida lost. Anything to add?
Not really.
Yeah.
Texas Tech plays some really good defense, and that's a team that's a little under the radar right now. And they're going to give Purdue a good battle in their Sweet 16 game. But I don't really know much about Texas Tech, but apparently they're pretty good.
And they got to play Purdue. Purdue knocked off C.S. Fullerton, and they went on to play the winner of the Arkansas-Butler game, and Arkansas got defeated, which I thought they would at least be a second-round team.
There's really nothing special about Arkansas. I wasn't too surprised to see them go down there.
Mike Anderson.
I saw Arkansas going out first round.
They had some talent, but nothing that really I mean, they didn't have like a Portis like they've had in years past. They didn't have the guy to carry them.
Yeah, so there is our Sweet 16. But now
The one thing I'd like to add.
Yeah.
Sorry. One of the biggest things of the tournament, Purdue's big man.
Yeah.
Broken elbow.
Yeah.
Out for the tournament.
Huge.
Number 2 seed in the East. That's huge on them. So that's one of the biggest things I've seen happen in the tournament so far that just sucks for Purdue.
It does. Okay, so I want to make just a quick Elite 8 predictions really quick for the Sweet 16. So we've got Kansas State, Kentucky. I think Kentucky is going to win this by a landslide. Kansas State is not a good team. Kentucky over Kansas State.
I hope so. I'm going to be at the game.
Yeah.
If we lose, I'm going to be highly upset.
That's going to be a long drive home.
That'll be a long drive home, definitely.
Kentucky, Kansas State. Zach, who you got?
I'll go with Kentucky there. Kansas State, their best player. I'm trying to look up his name. Snead. Yeah, he was pretty solid, but that was against Maryland, Baltimore County. So now that he's got to play a whole state instead of just a county, I think we'll be able to stop him and advance the Elite 8.
Kansas State's got a real icky offense too, and that's when you
They really struggled to score against a team that was a lot smaller than them.
We're long and athletic.
It's just, yeah, there wasn't even really pressuring them that much. They just couldn't get the ball in the basket.
Apparently, Kansas State played without one of their better players, but he said today that he's 98% sure that he's going to play in the Sweet 16 game.
Is Jared Vanderbilt playing?
Breaking news actually a couple minutes ago. It says John Calipari says Jared Vanderbilt could be available for Thursday's game.
It'd be nice to have Vanderbilt back against them. So
yes,
just that
but also
even if it was on like 12
15
right.
minutes.
And Banks made a good point on Saturday about what we should do with Vanderbilt. Do you want to explain that? I mean, just dress him and bring him out whenever if we need him.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't have to guarantee him playing time. Like, just dress him, and if we need him, put him in. If we don't need him, just let him sit. Just dress him, and just put him on the roster to play for that game. And if we need him, put him in. If we don't, we don't. I think that's just a logical way of looking at it.
Yeah, it'd be
I
nice
like
to
that,
just dress him, but there's nothing that the other teams would have to plan for Vanderbilt is a thing that sucks. It would be, not going to say nice to have a player to dress like that could come in like a Kevin Knox, but Vanderbilt is our rebounding horse. It'd be nice to have him back. I'd love to have him back, but I do think he's pushed a lot on Kalea Jones, and he's done very well with it. So
Also, Winion stepped up a lot too, not necessarily in the NCAA tournament, but there towards the end in the SEC, and we know what he did, but he stepped up as well, I think.
I've never seen anybody get an offensive rebound off of a free throw like he can. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna win some and you lose some with the return of Vanderbilt. So we'll see it. It's pretty interesting to see how it's gonna go.
Are you with the crowd? Kentucky over Kansas State?
Absolutely, I got them in my bracket going to the Elite 8.
Great. Loyola, Chicago, and Nevada. Who do you got? You got Sister Jean making extra. What do you call it? I'm not Catholic. Does anybody Catholic at the table?
Rosary?
Yeah.
Rosary.
No. What do you call the little?
I'm pretty sure it's.
I know it's a rosary, but I probably just offended like 25 Catholics that are listening. I'm sorry, but Sister Jean,
I
do you
grew
think
up Catholic too. That's bad.
she's gonna have? I really didn't offend no Catholics.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about bringing it up. I'm just saying, sitting here guessing.
I'm ignorant when it comes to Catholicism, and ignorance is the definition of ignorance is lack of knowledge on a certain subject.
Well, we can't get to the end of a show without like taking a big turn. Like now we're talking about Catholicism. Last week it was about whether the world had any morals anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not at McDonald's at 9 in the morning, man. We can't get on these subjects.
I think that Sister Jean can pray all she wants, but Nevada is going to trample over Loyola, and that's who I got in that matchup.
I'm taking Loyola, Chicago.
All right, taking them
Loyola,
even further.
Chicago is going to the Elite 8 to face a Kentucky team who is going to beat them by about 32 points.
Yeah, but we ain't
So
going to.
that
Sister
everybody
Jean-
else in college basketball can just hate us a little bit more.
Yeah, Sister Jean, she misinterpreted. She said Sweet 16. She meant Elite 8.
Okay, she's old, so I can see.
She's a little old.
I can see where
Alzheimer's
she
catches
messed
up.
up.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah. I can see where she could mess up there. And plus, who doesn't want to see the Nevada coach dancing around with no shirt on, getting marked on with the markers?
Dropping F-bomb.
Dropping F-bombs, yeah.
I'm with Sister Jean.
Okay.
They lose.
Well,
Going with Nevada.
F
Zach,
me,
you're
man.
with me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to get on Jordan's coattails one more time. I think Nevada's coach just showed in the 10 minutes after the game. He didn't go thank any of his players, nothing. He acted like he personally had willed the team. Like, it was just it was a really just lack of leadership all the way around. I think that they're going to come out unprepared, and I think Loyola Chicago's not even going to need a buzzer beater this time to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I'll say Loyola by 8.
Yep.
Ooh, specific
Loyola
with it.
by 8. But it's going to be a close game all the way through. But Loyola is going to start hitting, and then the free throws are going to take them up by about 8 within the last minute and a half or so.
The coach's name for Loyola is Porter Mosier. Yeah, that's another guy. It's amazing what the tournament can do for you, for your career as a coach. And getting to the second round, if he goes to the Sweet 16, he's going somewhere. I don't know where that will be.
Not too big yet, but he'll go somewhere bigger than Loyola Chicago.
I mean, in 2011, VCU was 11 seed, and look where they got Shaka Smart.
Yeah, to Texas.
He had years of experience in the tournament, though. He had like 3 years in a row.
Did they really go?
Yeah, they were like 3 years in a row where they were winning. So I could see Coach Mosier going somewhere like possibly like a Xavier, who has been on the ups but still shouldn't be as good as they are. But looking for a new up and coming coach.
Well,
with Mac leave, so
yeah,
I could see something like
Memphis
that.
have a coach yet?
Yeah, Memphis does. They hired Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, they hired,
they hired Larry Brown as their lead assistant.
Wow,
which I
could be scary.
Which I think was a mistake. I don't think that Penny Hardaway, this is his first coaching job ever. I don't think that for a team like Memphis, school like Memphis, it's too big of a school for Penny Hardaway to take over. I know he does AAU and he knows a lot of people, but
I'd agree with you. But having Larry Brown on the staff, like that helps with all that.
That does. I didn't know that until you told me that today, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to compete with the blue collar schools like Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, North Carolina. They're not going to recruit with us. But if you can keep if Penny Hardaway can keep the local kids around Memphis and stuff in it, and then he can kind of gather stuff from, he's not going to have the number one player in the nation, but I think Penny Hardaway and Larry Brown will be able to put together a pretty solid team to compete in the NCAA tournament next year.
How often do you see a really good former NBA player transition into being a really good coach? It doesn't happen very often.
Right. I think Patrick Kuhn is the one that comes to mind the most. I don't even know what he's doing at Georgetown. I know it's not good. I mean, they're not in the tournament.
That's what we talked about earlier. What has Patrick Ewing done at Georgetown?
Is this his first year?
I think it's his second year.
Second year. They're terrible. They were terrible last year. They weren't much better this year.
They used to be relevant.
I mean, they can't beat. Their conference isn't even what it used to be. Like, they can't beat the Creightons and whatever else they got.
Yeah, well, they had
these days.
They were so used to the John Thompsons for so many years that were such great coaches that they can't adjust back to it. So
yeah.
Well, they thought he would be a good coach just because he.
I mean, a lot of the young kids though, and the thing that's going to hurt Penny Hardaway is how many of the young kids know who Penny Hardaway is. How many of the young kids know who, these older players are rather than Anthony Davis or Steph Curry. Like, that's who they're following now. It's a new upspeed pace of basketball, and the older players are kind of gone in the younger players' minds, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, a recruit this year is going to be what? What year would they have been born?
A recruit this year?
2000.
Just about, yeah.
2000.
Wow. So,
2000.
I mean, that was already post Penny Hardaway's best years.
God, yeah, Penny Hardaway. I think he played in the NBA until like 2007 or 2008. So,
yeah, but he was.
And you got to think the last years were on the down and out.
Yeah, 90s was where Penny made his name, for example. But
yeah,
we're getting off on a tangent here. I know Banks wants to ask us about the next game.
Florida State Gonzaga. Mark Few, has he been to the Elite Eight, or is it the Final Four he keeps missing?
They went to the championship game last year.
Yeah, they were runner-up.
Oh,
Gonzaga was in the championship game. They lost to UNC last year.
That is right, yeah. I mean, I like Mark Few, humble guy. I do like him. I've got Gonzaga in that game.
Yeah, I agree. Gonzaga, they've been there before, so
Throw my chips on Gonzaga. So
Gonzaga and was that Florida State?
Florida State.
Yeah, I'll go with Gonzaga. They've gotten past the hump that they could never get over for years and years.
Michigan and SEC school Texas A&M. I'm going to go with Michigan on this. Even though they did sneak by that one game, I have Michigan. I'm not changing what I said at the beginning of the tournament. I still like what I saw during the season from Michigan. They won their conference, and they played really well in their conference. And I have Michigan in my Final Four, so I've got Michigan taking out Texas A&M.
Same here. Same for me. That's the one Elite Eight team on that side of the bracket I still got left. Might as well go down with them.
Yeah, I actually picked. I don't think I mentioned this, but I actually picked the Texas A&M beating North Carolina.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah, you did. That was a good call.
yeah, and I also said Nevada would probably beat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Before, then I gave up on my hopes that they were actually going to win until the end. But that's a tough one. I'd like to see Texas A&M, but I'm probably going to go with Michigan, just because they're Michigan.
All I gotta say is I'm gonna be the one person to call this. The Aggies are going to the Elite Eight.
I was going to say, we got to have some upsets in the Sweet 16. So, yeah, I mean.
I don't even think that's an upset. The Aggies are good.
Possible. That's the game I'm looking forward to, aside from the UK game that I'm looking forward to watching the most.
See, I don't know. How can a team like Texas A&M, who played so bad during the regular season.
But they weren't even
They
that
had
bad.
some suspensions and they had some injuries. And like I said, they never really meshed to the end of the season.
They're young.
if you're
They're like we
trying-
are. They're young.
If you're a coach and you're trying out different strategies to find one that clicks, I mean, when you find the one that clicks, that can make your team entirely different.
Okay, like Nova WVU, like I said, I think this would be the best game in the Sweet 16. I'm going to go WVU in this one. I think Huggy Bear is going to defeat Nova. Like I said on the Selection Sunday show, I thought Nova would be the first number one seed to fall. I was wrong, but I am going to have them going out against WVU. I think that Huggy is going to defeat them.
I'm going Nova. I was down on Nova the last show, but the experience proved me wrong. I didn't think it was going to happen like that. So I'm not going to doubt Nova in this game. I'm going to stick with them.
I had West Virginia winning, but I did some more research after our first show, and I guess I sold Nova short too. I didn't realize how experienced and talented they were. So I hope West Virginia wins to keep my bracket looking good, but I really won't be surprised if Villanova just kind of rolls on.
Yeah, y'all are talking about experience, but anything can happen. And like we've seen, anything can happen. I'm going Nova though. Just maybe the experience actually will matter in this game right here. So I'm going with Nova.
Texas Tech, Purdue. I'm going to go. Woo! I have no idea. I don't have any idea. In my bracket, I didn't even have. No, I picked them both going out. I flip a coin for heads, Texas Tech, tails, Purdue. I'm going to go.
It's heads.
Texas Tech. I'm going to go Texas Tech. Did you flip the coin?
I said heads. That was Purdue.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well. So I'm going to go Texas Tech. Defeat Billy Gillespie, I think, got that team right where they needed to be when he coached. No, I'm kidding. No, Texas Tech over Purdue is who I'm going.
I'm going to stick with Purdue, even with their big man being gone. I still think Purdue has enough fight in them, and I think they've been a solid enough team all year to get past Texas Tech and make it to the Elite Eight.
I had Purdue on the gut bracket on the research. Texas Tech's a little bit better than I thought. They did challenge Kansas for the Big 12. God, this is a hard one to pick. I'll go Purdue.
Yeah, I'm going with Purdue as well. Vincent Edwards and Carson they got two Edwards here. Carson Edwards and Vincent Edwards. I don't think there's any relation there. Nope. Can't believe one guy's white. But if interesting stat here, if Vincent Edwards, if he scores over 15 points, I think Purdue's like 19-0. So if he gets 15 points somewhere in that game, you have to look at that stat and you think that Purdue would win that.
Next matchup, Kansas-Clemson. I revealed that earlier in the show. I think that's going to be an upset. I think Clemson, they're playing good basketball, probably better than almost anybody in the tournament. I think that they're going to knock off number one Kansas.
Kansas looks way too good. Graham, it's too good. He's too good. Yeah, Kansas is going to win.
Kansas
are on the panel?
Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, they're good. They're actually pretty scary now. Playing probably the best ball they've played all season. Yeah, Kansas.
And Syracuse and Duke. It's going to be a close game, but I've got Duke still winning it all. So I'm going to go Duke pulling a win over Syracuse.
You got a great matchup here with some coaches.
Yeah, you do.
Coach K and Jim Boeheim. Yeah, Duke. I mean, Duke's probably the best team in the country this year. I'm probably going to go with Duke. As bad as I hate to say it. I like to see the upset, definitely. I'd definitely like to see Q's in the Elite Eight, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Duke.
Dookie by 20.
All right. So there are our Elite Eight predictions, and we're about to wrap things up here on the first and second round show. But I do want to say, did I mention that Tom Crean was hired at the University of Georgia on the last episode?
I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm not a Tom Crean fan.
I know you're not a Tom Crean fan, but I think it's great for the SEC. Listen, this guy, he took over a program at Indiana that was in shambles at the time he took it over. And then he came in, he got Indiana to being number one in the country a couple consistent weeks in a row while he was at Indiana. He always did well in the regular season. Always won 25, 26, sometimes 30 games. He was a really good competitive coach in the conference that he played in. And he just never could get it done in the tournament. Always went to a Sweet 16, never further. But he always had tough opponents, like Kentucky. You know, he beat Kentucky even at one point in time. I don't think that he's going to be, you know, a coach that can win a national title at Georgia. But I do think he'll make Georgia better.
I think there's a possibility he can make Georgia a little bit better. But I honestly, I would have rather seen, I know Thad Matta turned the job offer down, but I would like to see a Thad Matta, or honestly, I'd like to see Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I talked about it on the last show. I'd like to see Rick Pitino in the SEC if he's going to be able to get another coaching job.
I don't mind Tom Crean being in the SEC. I think it's great for the conference, but I think he's just an odd character. I think it's really weird that before the game or after a great win, he kisses his son on the lips. I don't know if he still does it or not, but that was really awkward. I hate seeing that. I guess we'll see it in the SEC this year.
He did kiss his son in the lips. I forgot about that. He is an odd guy, but hey, he's happy to be there. His press conference when he was introduced as the Georgia Bulldogs, I mean, he made me ready to be able to run through a wall. He had me so pumped up there. So I think he'll do good things at Georgia.
I hope he can.
And one last school to talk about coaching changes. Even though there's been several small school changes, Ole Miss hired Kermit Davis, Kermit the Frog, coming from Middle Tennessee.
I like that hire.
I do like that hire. I don't think that Ole Miss, it's going to fix Ole Miss basketball, but I do think it will help Ole Miss basketball.
I think he'll get them back on the right track.
Yeah.
I think they'll be a kind of in and out NCAA tournament team.
Yeah. And I think that's all they want. They're a football school. That's all they want.
I don't see them being the back of the pack in the SEC anymore with him there as a coach. I'd say give him 3 years there, and Ole Miss will kind of be that team that, you know, every couple years, if he sticks around, can finish in the top 4 or 5 in the conference. But I don't see it being, you know, just an every year pulling in good recruits thing.
I don't think that. I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, he wasn't my coach, but I didn't mind Andy Kennedy. I thought he was a decent coach. He got him to the tournament in, was that 2013? It was the year we missed it. 2013. I think they had another year in the tournament. I never thought that he was an awful coach.
Yeah,
he just didn't get respect like he should have.
I don't think Kermit Davis is going to be any better than Andy Kennedy was there. Like you said, they're just a football school.
I think Andy Kennedy's out, though. He made so many off-court mistakes.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get rid of him,
so.
but I don't think Kermit Davis is just like a slam dunk.
No, definitely
No, well, that's
not.
what I was saying. He's not going to fix Ole Miss basketball. He's not going to be great. He'll be good. I think he'll be good for Ole Miss.
He'll get the most out of Ole Miss basketball that you can, but I don't think he's going to push the ceiling higher in the way that like a Frank Martin can for South Carolina or something like that, or Bruce Pearl can for Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that level of higher.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to Off the Cuff's first and second round show. You will hear all of us back to discuss the Final Four, because a Final Four will be set when we sit down to do the next podcast. So enjoy the games this weekend, the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. I'm Adam Banks. I want to thank Chad Rainwater, Zach Hahn, Jordan Conaster, and all the Facebook fans watching live from your television or computer screens, whatever you stream it on. But ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next episode.
I didn't see no speed bump. Yo,
Hey, Jordan, get some dabs up on get some dab going
the top of the screen
on the Facebook Live. You want to do no dab?
Not gonna happen.
They ticked out. Amen.